So the resolution that contemplates doing this planning session was approved in 2019. We could not find any record of such a planning session being held. The idea is to look at the most major of items and says that the CEO will conduct an annual planning session at the board meeting in December each year with the purpose to provide basic direction and set priorities for the coming year. And it further goes on to say that the CEO will provide information on major issues facing the organization or our ability to implement the strategic plan. There are some significant choices to be made. I think Reston and the association are at the precipice of what I will call full maturity as an operation. So as we hit 60 years and most of our facilities are at least 35 or 40 years old, I really believe that you should think about, and I'm significantly advocating for, that we spend most of our time at the strategic level thinking about the finances of the association and what our financial needs are going to be going forward. Reserve study contemplated as much as $190 million worth of potential needs over the next 30 years. And if you do very simple math, every $1 million is about $50 on the assessment. So if we are at 848 right now, and the CI or the reserve study contemplates needing anywhere between $3.5 and $7 million a year, depending on how we sharpen our pencils, we're north of $1,000 in a hurry. We are assuming now is what everybody wants, which is we're going to continue to own and operate 15 swimming pools and 55 miles of trails and 1,300 acres of open space, all the physical buildings. When you add up all of those physical assets, they are well into the 9 figures worth of total land and physical assets. And what that means is we are currently trying to balance budgets on about $70 a month per household. And so when you look at the capital needs to make sure they're useful as compared to having a nightmare scenario, one breaks and is out of order for some period of time, there's costs that come with that. I would like to talk to the board about understanding those financial needs and the role of the assessment vis-a-vis disposed of. I would suggest that it would be highly beneficial for you all to think about how you evaluate your own performance. Are you interested in a code of conduct or civility? Do you want to talk about procedural considerations? A number of you have raised concerns about when you revisit things you've already decided or how that process ought to work and those sorts of things. Those kinds of cultural norms and working through them can really help you, as a group. And I'm happy to help in any way I can. I'm happy to get you a facilitator. I've certainly done it that way in the past. So I just want to put that out there for you all.
That Matt gave us, I needed to organize my thoughts, and I prepared just a list of everything that I could gather. So I would like to move to direct the CEO to incorporate the list of suggested work plan focus items document into the 2025 strategic plan and come back to the board at the next meeting with a draft of that work plan and some potential timelines.
Mr. President, I'm going to second the motion, but then I'm going to move to defer further consideration of this matter until the next meeting to give the staff an opportunity to look at this document that's just been put.
So to speak to the motion, the purpose of my motion was to do just that, which was to have staff be able to take this document back, to look at it, to bring us their version, because there might be other items that we discussed tonight, to incorporate them in, to come up with some timelines, to come back to.
As you all know, I'm very cautious of the fact that we are a governing board, not an operating board, and I think we overstepped that line way too many times. And
so
Go ahead.
I am in agreement with Margaret that this board is meant to be a board that discusses policy, and that the meetings that have gone on interminably in this year, twice a month for 5 to 6 hours, their excessive length is largely due to our own board's failure to stay in our lane and to stay with policy discussions and to trust the staff and to work on communicating about policy decisions with the staff. So I'm also in a situation like Trevor where I'm going off the board. I am delighted that there was one candidate for my position. We would have had more if we could use some self-discipline about our meetings. When people find out it's 2 6-hour meetings a month, no one wants to run for this position, or few do, thanks to those who do. And so I think we need to learn how to stay in our lane. I also agree with Trevor that I think we should be guided by what Mac has presented with us. You know,
I have, from time to time, heard members say, you get down into the weeds too much. And then I ask, give me an example. And what I get is crickets.
When we're questioning how much chlorine for the pools and tennis balls for to buy for the summer, I think that's absolutely in the weeds, 100%. There's your example.
Didn't do it.
We did.
We didn't. Not here. That was a budget item.
Just,
mindful of that, I'm happy to discuss with Director Farrell times when we have, during budget discussions, we've discussed whether the floor of a bathroom in the pool area is level or whether there are tripping hazards. That is not a board concern. That is not a policy matter. That is us getting in the weeds and out of our lane. So I'm
okay,
done.
let's,
The other option is to, vote no on John's, vote no on Jennifer's, and make an amended motion based on another option.
My motion was to direct the CEO to incorporate the list of suggested work plan focus item document, because that's the title of it, into the 2025 strategic plan and return to the board at the next regular meeting, which I will amend, if you guys are fine, till March 13th, because I forgot, not that I didn't forget, but I didn't connect the dots. Providing us a draft and timelines to further discuss.
okay,
Calling the
let's
vote.
vote on that. All those in favor of that motion, say aye. We have Just Jack and Farrell. All those opposed? We have Perry, Johnson, Dodd, Flashman, Gravwatch, and myself. That motion fails.
I would like to motion that staff take until March 13th board meeting to review the email that Director Jushuk sent to determine if the board should consider looking at any of these, or staff would like to consider adding any of these to the strategic work plan for 2025.
The motion is to accept the CEO's annual planning work plan as the framework and to forward Director Drushuk's input for consideration by the board and for discussion at the board meeting on March 13th.
Okay. That is the motion. All those in favor, say aye. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 opposed. Flashman, Farrell, and Just Jack didn't make the motion. We have 5 and 3. The motion passes.